Now, I'm not sure what you like to eat for breakfast, but for me, I typically like something like some yogurt or maybe some good old sausage and eggs. But today, we are going to be eating Martin for breakfast. Martin is about the stupidest bot you can get on chess.com. He's terrible, and he starts with a really, really dumb move. So we could play here, but I want to be consistent right now. I'm teaching you guys how to play this simple 4 knights opening because you're a beginner. We're going to try to put 4 knights in the center. So let's do that. Every time he makes a move, we should ask ourselves, is there a threat? Is there anything scary? Doesn't really look like it. So with this opening, I want you to learn one thing. I want to keep it really simple for you because I'm assuming you're a beginner. Maybe you struggle beating Martin yourself. But ask yourself, after getting this pawn here and your 2 horses out, can you go here? And we can. You might not think we can, but after a big trade, our queen can capture in the end. Martin actually does something smart and just doesn't take right away. So now we can get this bishop out or this bishop out. I don't think it matters too much. Let's get this bishop out. I kind of like this square. This one sometimes is better, but this is kind of fun because attacking his pawn over there, it already puts some pressure. Martin continues being weird. We can just castle. And the next job is to, well, I'm going to take here. He's going to take back. We're going to take here. Now, technically, the material is equal. So it's easy to look at this position and say, well, we're tied with Martin. Martin's doing great right now. But Martin's not doing great. Just take a second and look at how many pieces are out and doing something. He has a rook that's moved. He has a bishop that's kind of not doing anything. And the rest of his pieces hasn't even moved yet. And we got all of our pieces going out. We got one more bishop to get out here and rooks in the center. Ask yourself, would that last move have a threat? It did. It is a scary move. Our queen's hanging. Can't lose our queen. Can we take this pawn? No. Well, believe it or not, when this happens in this opening, you can often pretty safely just drop your queen back here, drop your queen back here. Now, there actually is not a problem, but something a little scary about this move. But I don't want you to overthink it. Let's just go here. We'll see if Martin finds it. Nope. He, of course, doesn't find it because Martin is an idiot. So now, look at this great square he gave us for our horsey. We can put our horsey there. That looks like a great move. We can also get our last bishop out. I don't care about this pawn because we have all of our pieces out. We're just going to crush him. This pawn can't survive too long either, so we can immediately go and attack that pawn. There's a lot of good moves. Let's go here. He can take this pawn if he wants to. I don't care. And we are going to now run the queen out. All these pieces are defended, by the way. It's important to notice. Oh, that was interesting. So Martin's like, my queen's hanging. But instead of defending my queen, I move my bishop here. If you want, we can check after the game, but I'm pretty sure this was already a bad move because we can take here. All of our pieces are defending each other. The queen just has to try to run out to safety, waste a few moves to get out safely, and while that's happening, we can gobble up some stuff. So instead, though, Martin just gives us the queen. Martin's terrible. Now, we moved here to win that pawn. Ask ourselves, don't forget what we were doing. Is that pawn still hanging? Looks like it. This is actually the problem. If we back up a little bit, let's learn something for a second. This is actually the problem at the very beginning of this opening. Why this is a bad move. It attacks your queen. People will do this all the time, not just Martin. This move is common to 1,000, 1,500 still play this move all the time because it attacks the queen. But it's hard to not lose that pawn. And as you see, just like 8 moves later, so that pawn is gone. We are castled, so I'm not too worried about my queen sitting out here in the open. Martin gives us another rook. I should speedrun this and see how many Martins I can beat in like a certain amount of time. So Martin is just giving us all of his pawns. And we can probably just go for checkmate. It's not quite, it wasn't quite checkmate. We're getting closer. Martin just said, now I have to think. I think you should have been thinking a while ago. Let's get our knight into the game. Wherever his king goes, we have a revealed double check. Get him deep in the territory. Let's win this knight. And there should be a checkmate in 1, probably. Oh, he has an escape square. Martin can survive for 1 more turn, I believe. Is there a checkmate in 1 that I'm missing? That's almost checkmate. quite, but we're close. I really want to find a pawn checkmate if possible. Let's get him closer. I'm going to try to lure Martin further and further into our territory here. Let's go here. Don't run away. Run closer. Yeah. Now our bishop is not hanging. Well, we can just make it simple. I was trying to find a pawn checkmate, but now it's not going to work because he's on the wrong side of the board. So let's bring our king here. Go for some checkmates here. He gives up his rook to save checkmate. That's the smartest thing he's done the whole game. Now he takes a pawn, and we can checkmate him just like that. Now that was obviously a little on the easy side. Let's play one game as black. And I really like to play the Scandinavian in my own games, but I'm trying to play some more just symmetrical stuff for you guys because you're beginners and teach you how just to play really normal chess. A knight attacks that pawn. Let's defend the pawn. He might develop a knight or a pawn or a bishop. Martin is playing a completely normal opening. That's crazy. Well, let's attack the bishop. Is he going to take? He does not take. He does not take the bait. Okay, now I think we can just get a knight out. I'm kind of torn here because this isn't a good move. But all this is pretty normal stuff in the Spanish, and I kind of want to teach you guys just normal chess. And normally you would be scared of something like this because he can take you, and then your pawn is hanging. Do I care? Let's say we just play simple and we're going to defend all of our pawns. Have all of our pawns defend each other. He moves his bishop for really no reason. And let's do something kind of fun. I want to develop this bishop. I can develop it here. This is bad. I want to teach you guys not to be too scared of double pawns. So let's do this move for fun. Now now it's a great move now because he didn't even take it. But this isn't as bad a move as it looks. So eventually we can castle along and have an open file for our rook here. But let's give him another chance to take it. Again, I don't think he really doesn't want to take it. Let's castle and give him another chance to take it. Take the bishop. Good job, Martin. Good job. Now that pawn's under attack. He didn't defend it, so I think we can just take it. And now here comes the attack. We have a rook. We have a bishop. We have a queen. Let's get our bishop into the attack. I don't care if he takes because he loses a defender. He doesn't even want it. Oh man, he is just not defending anything. Let's go here and go for that knight if he doesn't take our bishop. Now he takes the bishop. We go here. Wow. I am just shocked by how horrible these moves are. It looks like we have plenty of attackers on this pawn just to take it. We have 3 attackers on it. He has 2 defenders, 1 being a king. And even if we didn't, we could even take and bring this over at the end. But what you lead with here can be sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes move order is really important, and sometimes not so much. In this case, this attacks the king. This is more forcing because it kind of makes a rook do something. I want to lead with the rook. My main consideration here, I think this is the better move just because on the next move, no matter what, I now can bring my rook in. Whereas if I do this, I'm going to have to move the knight out of the way, then bring this rook up. See how much longer it takes to get my other rook in the game? So if you're doing a calculation like this, sometimes it matters. Sometimes Stockfish will tell you both moves are exactly the same. If you can't decide, just well, this is the one that brings more pieces in. I'll have, in 2 moves, I have more pieces in. He takes, we take, we check. And then, let's see, this threatened, not checkmate, so you can give everything up for it. This doesn't threaten checkmate, actually, surprisingly. Let's bring our other rook in. And it looks like he is just about out of options. We can trade queens with him, which looks interesting. Now this move looks really good because we're threatening checkmate. Can't defend checkmate with this queen because we just take it with our knight. And if we go here, he takes with his rook. Now we can take with our rook or our queen. We have an extra defender. So I think there might have been a faster checkmate in here, but this was a pretty simple one. Should we trade queens and play an endgame, or should we go for checkmate? I think you guys might need more practice in endgame. So let's trade queens and talk about how you would win this endgame when you have a rook and a knight versus a bishop and a knight. First of all, tell yourself, what are you actually winning by? Like, what are you actually winning by? What's the advantage? Well, we have a rook, which is better than the bishop. The two knights kind of cancel each other out. But that's not the only thing. If you look at these pawns, these pawns, these pawns, and these pawns, they all kind of cancel each other out. But I am loving these doubled pawns right here. I think we should be able to push them down the board. Now, Martin will probably blunder a piece before we get there. You know, go somewhere stupid and give us a piece for free. I don't know how, maybe there. But if we get a chance to, let's try to push all our pawns and practice pushing pawns. We can't push this pawn yet. Let's see. We could have a fork and win in one more pawn. I think we should just go for this pawn here. I don't think he can defend it. I guess he can. Why is Martin glitching? Martin, play. Martin's glitching. Martin's not making his move. Play Martin. Martin, hello? Are you there? I think we made Martin sad. I think I upset Martin. Okay, so now we can go here. If we take this now, we trade the knight for the pawn. It's totally winning. This would be more educational. Let's be educational. Let's trade like this. And now this is what I wanted. So I want to show you guys is how to push these pawns. So what we ask ourselves is, can we push this pawn? Yes, we can. Let's do it. This doesn't matter. We can trade it off. Can we push this pawn? Yes, we can. To make sure we're all safe here. I'm going to go here. We can push the pawn. Let's just play. We can push pawn, and not think. Okay, now I don't want the king to take my pawn. It's a little hard to defend the pawn with a pawn because this bishop. I'm going to go here. Okay, he goes here. I can now push this pawn. And now I can push this pawn. And this pawn. And this pawn. And this pawn. And not that one, but let's start bringing the king. Bring the king in an endgame is always a good idea. Let's see. Let's not get our horsey trapped here. He really wants our horsey. We're not going to give it to him. All right, and then we got to just reposition our pieces. We obviously can't go to the dark squares. Let's go here. And then let's go here. I'm trying to bring the king closer. So in the end game, this king is going to do a really good job of stopping the pawn. So just bring your own king closer and closer. I can start going over here and outflanking my opponent. Yep, now he's panicking a little bit. I can go here and defend the pawn. I should have pushed this pawn. I was going to do that, and then I started talking and I forgot. Let's see. Let's just go for this pawn. Let's go for this pawn. And let's go here. Martin doesn't even want it. Let's go. I could take, but I think this is actually easier because it just really defends everything. There we go. I told you we wanted to be educational, right? That was more educational. It was a little scarier, but more educational. Where you going, Martin? You can have all my pawns. I don't care. Take them. Take them. Take my pawns. Take my pawns. He doesn't want my pawns. Okay. He doesn't want my pawns, so let's pretend the pawns aren't there. Let's give him the pawns. Make him take them. Take my pawns. There we go. Now we have a rook versus the king. One last fun educational thing. The rook checkmate is a pretty fun one. Cut the king off as far as you can. Let's go here. Get your king over. Protect your rook. And I like to do the box method. So here is your rook. Your rook controls all of these squares. There is a shield. The enemy king cannot get through the shield, right? If you can shrink that box, shrink the box. If you can't shrink the box, like right now, we can't shrink the box. If the rook goes here, the king escapes our box. If you can shrink the box, do it. If you can't, move your king. Now, we can shrink the box. We can go here, and then our box will be this size. Boom. All right, can we shrink the box? Yes, we can. And can we shrink the box? No. Boom, we lose our rook. Move a king. Move a king. Can we shrink the box? Yes. Can we shrink the box? No. Can I shrink the box? No. Can we shrink the box? Yes. And now this is the key position. We move over. We can't, by the way, shrink the box here because then the box would be stalemate. Don't do that. Once you get your rook on this row, now you want to go here and deliver checkmate. 50% of the time, this would be a blunder because he takes your rook and it's a stalemate. So what you do is you waste one move, forcing the move into the corner, and then checkmate. That is my favorite way to checkmate, with a rook and a king. It's also a fun one that you can do some more pre-moves on. So if you're in time trouble, it's a fun one you can kind of pull off quickly. All right, hope you enjoyed eating some marten for breakfast. This is a beautiful way to end the game with a nice king checkmate in the corner. And if you guys don't mind, hit subscribe down below, because eventually I can do more educational stuff on chess.com if I have enough subscribers on YouTube. So I would really appreciate it, hitting the subscribe button, and hope you enjoyed and learned some stuff about chess. See ya!